Hello, I'm Steve Monkey Mason and welcome back to It's Just a Podcast series as my computer starts backing up. I am joined along with Lubo Carl.
Alright.
And the one and only Paul Ray. He really doesn't need any introduction. But, well, he does, so he knows when to talk. We're back to do Gremlins 2, the new batch. I'm watching this on Blu-ray. I've got the menu screen on. What do you guys got on?
Blu-ray, but I'm going to have 1 second.
Well, I'm going to press play after 3, 2, 1. And Carl maybe's want to press it in a couple of seconds. I'll tell you when it goes to black. Still waiting to go to black. Still waiting. I've got my FBI warning signs. Homeland Security. Oh, I've got piracy is not a victimless crime.
Paul.
Whoa, yes. And last but not least, here we go. Warner Brothers logo is starting. The cartoon. Yep. Yep.
I've got Bugs Bunny playing now.
Yep, here comes Bugs Bunny. Right, this was one of they wanted to use this in the original movie, sort of, something very similar, because that's how they started it. And again, I love this. This is absolutely brilliant, and this is also a foreshadowing of Looney Tunes back in action as well.
Yeah, I remember this being a bit confusing, to be honest with you, because in my head I thought, hold on a minute, am I watching the right thing? But then I also actually initially thought it was going to be some sort of random cartoon at the beginning. You used to do that, didn't it?
They did, yeah.
In the pictures, yeah. I thought it might be like Warner Brothers doing like an homage to it, because I know like even when this came out they didn't do that anymore. But I had a funny feeling it was going to be like maybe the Gremlins were going to like play a part in this kind of parody, because I think it was always kind of understood. Even the marketing kind of screamed that this was not going to be taken, let's say, as serious as the first one. The first one still has serious moments, but this is definitely almost essentially a cartoon version of Gremlins.
We know what I want to do it. They tried a lot of things till they just went back to Joe Dante and just says, look, do what you want. It screams, it's totally different kettle of fish. I think the score, I don't think the score gets enough credit because the score is slightly different. Dun 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 dun. What's this, Superman?
This is a Superman footage, yep.
Stock footage, yep. Now it is produced by Emberlin, yeah. But yeah, I think the score doesn't get enough credit, like, that's all. Well, I hope Bugs Bunny's long gone.
And I just had a humor impression.
Yep. So it's been a couple of nights since I watched this. We haven't had a sequel yet. But again, this is one of the last films of the 80s, because it was obviously in the 80s into the early 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah. Big cast in this, like Christopher Lee,
so low down. I would have, like, to be honest with you, it should be Anne Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee was taking some. I mean, even Dick Miller's name's right down there, but Christopher Lee, I mean, look at him in Police Academy 7.
Oh, Chris, go with that. I'm trying to get rid of that film. The first time I seen this was a videotape I bought from Phoenix for like $12.99. Got home. Rick Baker's co-producer. Alright. Got home and it was in widescreen. I was like, oh, what's these black bars about? This is before like widescreen. I really knew about widescreen. Yeah. I loved it. Like you said, it doesn't get much credit. Everyone kind of like forgets it the second film, don't they? I don't know. I think I saw this more on TV than I saw the first one.
No, I remember this being counted down. My cousin Brian was absolutely like hyped for this, and so was I. Like, but again, it's a 15. Yeah. This was like a guaranteed 15. I didn't get to see this at the pictures. I will apologise to you guys. Steven Spielberg is executive producer, but again, he probably hasn't had much input in this. He's just got his name check and a paycheck, really.
No, well, listen, well, we talked about that a while ago. When we were talking about executive producer.
Yeah.
And you know how some people have zero involvement. It's just a title to give them, keep them involved.
Very bland font, by the way, considering how, because Joe Dante hated the font on the original movie, and it's a very different kind of font, isn't it?
Yellow and red one, yeah. I think it screams 90s, early 90s, really, doesn't it?
It's a sign of the times.
I couldn't remember, but this is 1990, July 27th it was released. UK, that is. That's Sony Tron TV, man. Video player. Yips.
Now, I didn't think I'd ever seen him in anything, and he's actually running around as the mad scientist in Batman and Robin, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, he is. He wanted thingy Bane, isn't it?
Yeah.
Poison Ivy.
Gizmo. Dun, dun, dun. I generally really like the score. I like the artwork. It's unfortunate, like, talking about it, like, because we're talking about this on the last podcast, how Gremlins has just been tossed out on a release. HMV in the UK added it to its premium collection, do you know what I mean? And you get your art cards, you get some new commentaries, you know what I mean? But, like, you would think that for years, 1 and 2 were just grouped together like the Ghostbusters, and obviously when they've ended up on release, they've just been split up. Now, the guy plays the old man. He actually died before this film was released. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But also, it's just nice to see that he was in it, just even if it's for a little.
Oh, I mean, it's a nice passing of the torch, you know. I mean, it links the stories together. I mean, it sets up here fucking Rambo and shit. That's fucking class.
Rambo.
And you more. You got me come more.
I mean, no one's got. I know it's just a movie and all that, but who plugged that in? I mean, it's not connected to cable. You know what I mean?
This has came out on Blu-ray now. It's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the UK. I thought, like, yeah, I knew it was something like that coming out. Yeah, they're fishing.
It's cool for Stallone to, like, you know what I mean? Stallone to approve this, because so technically Sylvester Stallone is in Gremlins 2. Simple as.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But there's such a massive budget on this. Not that it's that surprising, because the amount of cameos and all the names and companies and logos they used in this film. But it's such a massive budget compared to the first one.
Well, they had
What was it like?
So the first one was 11 million. This is 50. This lost money because this one, the budget was 50 million, and worldwide it made 41 and just under $500,000.
Aye, but it's got to have made its money back by now, and it'll made its money back, especially merchandise.
But people don't look at it that way, though, do they? I mean,
Yeah.
if it didn't make its money back in the first year and a half, they would have just forgotten about it. I mean, like I say, it's still ticking over, but as far as, like, you know, the studios go, it would just be one of those lost things, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll put that Warner Brothers streaming thing soon, won't it?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
do you think Warner Brothers should go with their own streaming thing, though? Because HBO Max isn't Warner Brothers, is it? I mean, obviously they're connected to it, but it's not theirs, is it?
I think it's shared.
I think it's shared, is it?
Yeah.
Because I think, like, even now you've got the DC animated, well, not just DC animated, but you've got, like, an app out there that does, like, most of the DC cartoons and that, which isn't connected to HBO Max.
now Gizmo has been fully revamped for this, and there's Gizmo walking. That's something they couldn't do in the original.
Well, I was going to say that was something I was going to mention as well. I mean, that's going to be a massive part of the budget because the technology that they use towards Gizmo and obviously some of the other Gremlins is so much more than what we got in the first film. So you can see where they have been spending money.
Yeah, these two twins were in Terminator 2, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in something else as well. Do the Right Thing, advertise. Spike Lee film on the billboard over there, Times Square.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually Times Square as well, so you want to talk about where some of your budget went, there you go.
It's true, yeah.
The twins
It's
are,
not me,
the twins, man, are in back in Looney Tunes back in action on the board.
They're getting in. Because Joe Dolly does those friends really, doesn't he?
Done and down.
Burger King again? I mean, fucking hell, man. Ugh. That's a massive billboard to Do the Right Thing, like.
Oh,
New York carbs. So yeah, I mean, this film, I mean, it does happen to follow them, the story. I mean, the idea, as soon as someone said, oh, let's do it in New York, the fucking producers would have went, what? You know, because it's isolated in the first movie, but that's the promise. It's like Predator. It's like the first one's in the jungle, right? Want to see it in the city, and as soon as you write that into a budget, everyone's just like, what the fuck? I mean, this douchebag, he deserves to get thrown around the door. But again, once they're indoors, it's isolated.
Yeah, and it's obviously that technology that's coming in now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which we have now. But it looks proper 90s, like. Just architecture.
It's a real building, this. I'm forgetting what building it is, but half of it's a real building. I mean, look at that marble floor, man. I mean, fucking hell.
I like the hats that she's wearing.
Yeah, the hat like reminds me of Demolition Man. You know, like the stupid clothing line that's supposed to be like what everyone presumes the future clothing line's gonna look like.
Phoebe Cates. I mean, this was nearly 7 years later, though, wasn't it?
84.
This was 1990, so yeah. I think so, yeah.
And a red-headed lass.
Smoking in the room, aye.
Things haven't changed. So, obviously, with VHS, you've seen this, wasn't it, Mason?
Yeah. I've still got, well...
I actually think I saw this for the first time on TV. I definitely had the VHS, but I think my first time viewing was TV.
Well, just to give a shout out to Mr. Afron Jones there at Videorama, who recently did the anniversary print of the Gremlins. I actually gave a VHS to donated a video to him. Amazing artwork. If you get to check that video out, unbelievable. Can't wait to have that in the house because I am a hoarder.
I know Robert Cobb. Obviously, he's the garbage man in the Burp. Yeah. Small jerseys in that.
And to me, no, with the Doctor from Star Trek. That's what I say. Just out here.
Obviously, they go back to Explorers again. He's played 3 roles in Explorers.
Yeah.
He's everything. Robert Picardo.
The Batman comic book hidden on the shelf there. I mean, him going, this is art. I mean, that's totally for what you would draw on paint back in the day. When you get, oh, you open up paint. Yeah, look, I drew a perfect square, and it's blue.
Yeah. I should mention, I've got some notes. One of the things I was meant to mention before, it's quite funny, is when Christopher Lee was cast for this movie, the first thing he did was apologise to Joe Dante for appearing in Howling 2.
Yeah.
And Werewolf Bitch.
I mean,
rightly so.
Christopher Lee, man. I mean, by the end of his career, he sort of resurrected himself. He became quite a big brand again. But like, he did have some taken a couple of years. Now he's another massive. It's Mr. Klopek.
Mhm.
He's also in Inner Space. Yeah. Biodome. Get them out of there.
And isn't thingy from the Burbs? What do you call him? Oh my god, the one who died. What's his name again? He plays the security guard, doesn't he?
Oh, Rick Dukeman. Rick Dukeman's in this as well.
Yeah.
So there's 4 cast members of the Burbs in this. There's probably more. Watching this now, there's probably even more.
Oh, yeah. That's why I love about Joe Dante. He just has his friends, and like Sam Raimi and Evil Dead and Spider-Man. He gets Bruce Campbell and he gets Ted in. I mean, I like that kind of small bond that I have.
It's like Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's. It's sort of something that's really like. Dan Aykroyd was really big on that, and I think Dan Aykroyd passed it on to Adam Sandler. Like, you just never know, and it's like, I mean, I don't know if it's something that goes against union, because back then, like, if you weren't in the union, you couldn't work on that. Now, this is one of Rick Baker's early creations, but that was one of the things. You just help people out. You're making a movie. You know what I mean? It's just like unions were made for certain things to stop roles. Now here he is. This is the same guy from Last Action Hero.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, alright. I thought it was like the original guy from the Munsters from the 60s.
That looks like, what do you call him on the rest there? Breaking Bad. There's Joe Dante there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe Donnie's on the circuit board.
Igor.
You get the puppy called the Igor. You got to suck your blood.
I mean, I just love this concept. It's a massive building, essentially a shopping centre and a business centre put together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tweet, 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 tweet,
That's
tweet.
what they use for Goonies.
Oh, burst.
Yeah.
The one that
The one-eyed puppet I've got called Igor.
like when he puts the mouth down, goes makes like a noise, like it's been like added in or something like that to the ADR on it.
I mean, there was a lot of stuff in the 80s like that, fizzling out. Saturday morning cartoons and like Mistress of the Mistress of Evil and Elvira and all that. It was, but again, it was more Americanized. You would never get that over here.
No.
We got digging
now
back.
when the guys come back to Monster Vision in America on like Shudder or something like that. Elvira should definitely do a comeback.
Elvira was one of the horror cons a couple of years ago. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that for background though. Do you know what I mean? That's not blue screen.
Yeah.
I was going to miss a donut.
I really want that old woman who's like behind the scenes looking at him. I just want her to be a random extra who just actually stopped to look at him.
Looks like one of Mason in the background.
Now he's kind of famous. There he is from. He's in Under Siege. This kid here, Delivery Boy.
He's been in so much.
He's been in loads. He was recently in The Substitute. What I've seen recently. He's been in a lot of movies. I think he's in Clear and Present Danger and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, everyone instantly thinks that's Annie Potts from Ghostbusters 2, but it's not.
I was just about to say, you I'm very inspired in the red-haired kind of secretary look.
I mean, Christopher Lee just fucking owns this role.
Well, I think that's what I was going to say before, you know, like, we were talking about how he did, like, obviously, let's be fair, he did obviously Dracula and stuff like that, and, you know, we can revere them now as classics, but, you know, most of them were very much B movies, B horror movies and stuff like that, but, like, I feel like he always put a hell of a performance in, whether he was doing a big budget film, or whether he was just doing a cameo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Proper
you
professional.
a proper actor who actually tried no matter what. I feel like that's why he got so many roles, because of just so, you know, he's going to perform whatever you put in front of him. I
would love to see how many other Gremlins ideas they had. Can you imagine if it was a fucking elephant gremlin?
Yeah. But again, I mean, in a way that I don't want to see it, but, you know, you could literally open the door to this this animated series that they're talking about, you know, like coming up with all of that creatures that you might be able to put together and stuff like that, but I feel like it might only be funny for like a minute or two. And they'd be like, yeah.
I'll see a trailer before I see anything on that, like. But Joe Dante's behind it. That means it should be okay.
This scene always reminded me of the toaster in Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah. And I roll it. I'm ready. Huh? Look at that, man. That's so cool. Look at that, man.
It's good, and then this feels like they've got wake down there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, let me see the black lines around them, but no, it's really good. And obviously a puppet, back to a puppet again.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And then zoom.
That's well done, that.
I think the question is, boys, you know the dangers, you know the potential, would you still have a Mogwai?
No.
No. Oh, shit. Fucking speaking of that, fucking hell, Gizmo's, you know how I've got that life-size model of Gizmo's Rambo?
Yeah.
I just looked up and his fucking big fucking pencil with a fucking Tipex thing was about to fall off. Dangling in death.
Look at this mobile, look at this phone, man, with a little communicator on. I remember, I remember like in the early 90s or mid 90s when mobile phones used to have emails and stuff on them.
Yeah.
to use. I remember those ones.
I mean, look at the pictures you send me now, Paul. I wish I didn't have that fucking technology.
You know, you can go. I think I'm watching an instant thing, and the next thing you, it's something completely different.
When you get a video of Mason, you know it's going to be of a certain genre.
You know not to watch on the bus like I did that time. It's like what's going on here? Nah.
This delivery guy, he was also in Training Day as well. I just remembered.
Oh, he's been on loads.
But I think he did a lot of different stuff like.
Yeah, it's Bob, and he works for City Delivery Service.
I mean,
On my terms.
he's definitely not called Bob.
No.
Oh, look that up on Mac. Look at it, man.
Get your floppy
Christ.
disk in that.
Or the euphemism.
How much information could a floppy disk hold?
What?
4
8?
megabits or something.
448 megabits, are you lucky?
Huh?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
How far we've fallen.
There you go, lightning gremlin setup.
I used to have the NECA figure. I think you've got one also. It's just like a Perspex blue thing, isn't it?
Well, that, if you ever see my room, is actually attached to the blue light that whips around the room. So it looks like the room's lit by it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Splinter.
Billy!
Just so happens.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you had Gizmo, it'll be fine because he knows the crack. If you had a General Mogwai, you would have a fucking nightmare.
Well, this is it, because the way I was thinking of it, I mean, you both said no, I probably should have said I definitely would. But I just think it's what I think I mentioned in the first one, where, you know, there's a lot of, like, issues here, and I know it's just a movie, but there's a lot of issues here where there were really stupid things that happened, you know? It's like, if someone told me the rules, I would probably be, like, really vigilant on making sure those, like, apply. I wouldn't, like, put them next to a cup of paintbrushes with full of water or something like that.
Congratulations, you just hit the toilet. Or something like that. Remember what it is.
It's a nice toilet.
Fucking really nice toilet.
Smellies.
I've nearly wet myself a few times, like last time, like when we used to go the pub, because you go in and like you got a toilet, a urinal, and then you've just got a guy in there, and like you kind of feel like, if I got to give you money for, like, you know, like, I don't know what's in them bottles, it kind of makes you uncomfortable. So go and have a wee.
Yeah, but I think in most cases when I've been in that situation, I've been half cut, so I just like, no thanks, mate.
When I got away at work, Mason always tries to open the door.
No, that day I opened the door and you had your pants around the ankles. I was like, oh.
You think I did?
Well, you did. There's no fucking thinking about it. I opened the door and your pants around your ankles, like the whole weight and caboodle.
Oh, wait. Is this when you're on the toilet or
No, standing up.
when it? Oh, stand the urinal. All right, okay, that's weird.
No, you rhino.
If I put my pants over down my feet, I could be able to pick it up, could I? So no, I don't. You wish I did.
I'm surprised NECA haven't tried to milk this and bring out the toolbox as an accessory.
Yeah.
They do
Don't put it
thousands.
past them.
Yeah,
Donald Trump. Or at least we were very much modelled after.
oh god, Job's little pauses there.
I love it how it's pulsating. If you look very closely, it's pulsating. Just attention to detail.
Where's the smoke coming from? Am I missing a point here?
It's stars in their eyes. And he's
Is that
here.
what it was? Is it like a big reveal?
And then Matthew Kelly comes out. So what else has he been in, Daniel Clamp?
Just really Batman and Robin, really.
Well, this guy here, I always remember him as Lex Luthor's dad in Smallville. He played a really good role. Very good actor.
Never seen it.
He's considerably older. I mean, not like massively older, but he's obviously consider this as 1990s. I think Smallville was like mid to late 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that, man? Your supervisor telling you to paint trees in there, then him telling you to take it out. It's a fucking paint. It's on Photoshop.
Too much green, though. Too much green.
You know who should have made a cameo there? Bob Ross.
Huh.
The most relaxing man on the planet.
Mind you, our staff room's like that, isn't it? Where you sit down for like 5 minutes and it turns the light off.
Yeah.
You move around. So people walk in thinking you're sitting in the dark, you just can't even be all sit.
Boo! Aye.
I was going to say, hold on, did it not go up because there's no movement?
Yeah, it's like a it's like a sensor. I mean, it makes perfect sense. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, how still are you sitting though?
I'm sitting down.
Sitting watching film?
I mean, I'm sitting down having a wee, aren't
I started watching Doolittle today.
Oh, that's a rough one.
Oh, the Gizmo just looks amazing.
Robert Downey Jr. has totally made the choice of using that accent as well, which is very unusual.
It sounds like Billy Connolly all the way through it.
Well, he's supposed to be Welsh, right? I'll be honest with you, I admire him doing a different accent, like at least a different tone of accent to make it a little bit more interesting. But I mean, if you can't hold a Welsh accent through the entire film, but to be honest with you, I don't think many people could really. Don't do it.
Don't do
now,
it.
would you guys go for a dinner date with this redhead?
Oh nah, she's got slag written all over. I wouldn't trust her.
Sure, but
Jesus
you'll take it
Christ.
to McDonald's, you call. For a takeaway?
No.
KFC.
Listen, I've got standards, boys.
All you can eat, that's what I would take that to.
Or you between the redhead and Phoebe, you come from?
Phoebe.
Dumping the slag straight away for a pure, nice girl. So my point being proven.
I don't know if she just said pooey there, or booey there, so I don't know. Well,
Probably keeping the rating down on it. You can say pooey, but you can't say shit.
got those things around, those furry things.
I mean, they've tried to develop the characters, but like, I mean, you know what I mean? They haven't really, like, it's just there back in the movie.
I think they've tried to, like, I don't know if her being in the same building as him, like her job, I mean, what was she in the first one?
Yeah, she worked in the bank with him.
At some point. Yeah, I just feel like it's a bit unusual. A bit unhealthy, really, don't it, for a young couple to
But
obviously move from
you've got to
small
admit,
town
though,
to a
Carl,
big
that is
town.
that looks like a massive building. You would definitely go and,
yeah.
you would definitely run and rugby tackle him there, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but you go to get away from your partner sometimes, don't you?
I just think, like, the way they portrayed them in the film, obviously they were like almost were they all the way through the film until the end, but I just feel like that kind of sweet and innocent couple is too much, man.
That's Gomez Adams, isn't it, from the original Adams Family?
Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't he say Gomez? I haven't got a sound on, but I'm pretty sure he says Gomez.
I don't know, I haven't got a sound on.
Sure.
He's also in The Frighteners, isn't he?
Does.
He's the old man in The
Yeah,
Frighteners.
Yeah. I just like the see this where the comedy's coming into, because like
This would be my luck, this, like, have a mogwai for 2 minutes and get it wet.
I mean, look at it. Just about getting them.
This is definitely it's definitely got my luck.
Fucking good. Gizmo, man, you're useless.
Second time in a row, though, he's got wet from a painting.
True.
28 minutes into it and it's already started, you know what I mean? Set everything up straight away there. It's already kicking off.
Well, I was going to say, it didn't waste
Sorry
much
about my
time, did
computer.
it? The film has been quite well paced from the get-go. It hasn't like slowed down at all yet, has it?
Mm-hmm.
Daffy coming out next. Boing.
I just said.
Now this totally
So,
changes. This totally changes the tone of the movie because, like, not only do we get like a batch of Mogwais, we then get like the second generation where they're all enhanced and like it just totally like. I mean, this is Lenny and Carl. Lenny, isn't it? Of Mice and Men.
Simpsons. Yeah.
And then we get Mohawk, which is obviously Stripe Volume 2. That's Daffy.
He's meant to.
I love the score, the music. I mean, again, the music's really good as well.
Yeah.
Goldsmith, what do you expect?
And the return, well, technically, but Mohawk. But I think as well, making them all different colours as well.
Well, you got to make it, equality and all that.
I think it looks really good. They've done a really good job on them. You can tell.
Well, that's why Rick Baker's came in, though, hasn't he? So.
But again, it's just like the species of a Mogwai, right? I mean, like I say, the similarities to the first one, which you've already mentioned, but it's just a bit weird that obviously, again, he spawned all these different ones. Now they're all different types, but immediately they're all against Gizmo. Like it just seemed like, how does that a thing?
Well, they never want to kill him. You know what I mean? They're always just like to torture him.
I think it's just like a sibling thing. Like, oh yeah, because you clearly the goody one, so we'll mess around with it.
Think that one. Like a TV dinner in here, man. Hoi hoi. Like is that?
Alright, but them two are based off Mice and Men. Obviously, Mohawk is just Stripe Volume 2, and Daffy is based off Daffy Duck, so.
Yeah.
It's completely fucked up, that Peter.
It's interesting that they actually do use a lot of Mel Blanc's voice from the Looney Tunes to do a lot of the Gremlins like voices and stuff like that, or the little quirky noises that they make. And this is all like reused audio from the original Looney Tunes.
Love it.
Which again, I mean, that's the second time we've said like they've done reused footage, so you think that would have kept the budget a bit further down. But
Well, it's what they call stock footage, isn't it? It's sort of. Now this is an homage to King Kong. This bit.
It's the reason why you like it, for, isn't it?
Aye.
Do you like King Kong? Like, I didn't know you liked King Kong.
Oh well, it's I've seen it a couple of times. I just think it's hilarious.
Well, there's sort of general idea of King Kong.
No, him on top of the thing of King Kong.
Yeah. How could you think he gives more though? How are completely different?
It's been 6 years, isn't it?
She's not very smart, I suppose. Yeah.
Why was Gizmo not just say something? That's our
Tony a movie. And he goes off on his little adventure.
You think?
He's got some wingspan in his ears, like, hasn't he? Frog and yogurt bar.
Joe Goldsmith on this thing, isn't it?
Huh?
Yeah. I think he's like a Joe Goldsmith. Later on.
I mean, that's just not a very nice restaurant now.
Canadian, eh?
Yep. How about that? How about
How about some? How about some dessert?
What about? Dude.
She reminds me of a younger version of the mother in Beetlejuice.
Is it Catherine O'Hara?
Yeah, she played the mum in Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin.
It's just very soft focus on that shot there for some strange reason. Oh. KFC, grab a bucket, and get on yam.
Have an angler.
But with KFC, man, they smell nice, but they're never nice once you've had one.
Afterwards, you always feel like you've done some work on you.
Oh, lipstick on the face.
Yeah, the first thing like, have you had one? Going your calendar. In the background, he's got his pelt set, his dad's pelt set. You sent background to see it?
Oh, that's pretty cool, aye. That's cool.
I'm not kiss her. It's pretty mental.
Fucking mental, that kid, like. But as a kid, you didn't really follow the story. You just loved the Gremlins, don't you? Like the wackiness about it.
Yeah. It does feel like you're watching like just a live action cartoon, doesn't it? That's what I love about Joe Dante things.
Bingo. Bingo.
Classic video. That's where you would be when you missing all the time.
See, if it was me and the dog was still alive, I would have had Mushroom just appear there briefly. The dog from the original.
Well, that dog that came on the street there was very similar. I'm never sure it's not, but like, it's not the same, but could have been deliberately.
Now, if I walked home like that, the flips of your face, I'm sure there'll be more than like this and that, and when you get Bolligan, wouldn't you?
Ah, but look at that, she's got a lot on her plate at the moment.
Literally. On the floor. There's a Twinkie there. Yeah.
Don't you start about them Twinkies again?
Oh, put all over his face.
Do you actually like Twinkies? I found them very overrated.
No.
I felt like the Ghostbusters really built it up. And I was like, once I finally got one, I was like, mint, and it was just like this.
It's a pretty big Twinkie.
For the rest of the day. And I don't have a heart.
It's fucking wired.
I don't know why I was with American apartments, like, and all is small, but you can do so much with them, couldn't you?
I love I love like kind of more like, you know what they call studio apartments. Right,
Yeah.
I think that this was originally going to be the parents.
Yeah, it would make more sense.
Because the Futtermans are definitely dead in the original.
No, man.
Not because he's dead, though.
No, because they're in the sequel.
And Billy's dead. And
There's the
I want
smoke.
People to wrestle him.
Then the background on the bottom right. I was just going to say in the background on the bottom right there was his dad's smoking thing as well. The ashtray.
Right. And his photograph in the background. My mum and dad. If you look right behind Billy and Thingy on the shelf behind them, in a setting that might be on there. Like, see, in the background there. Little photograph.
Yeah.
That's not his mum though. That looks like a different woman.
Not. I didn't know. It's them, right? Bloody hell.
Calm down.
So attractive.
Just a movie.
Bloody hell.
Just a podcast as well. Just fucking. It's just a podcast.
Check out IMDb, can't make sure it's parents on the photograph in the top right.
I don't know if they're getting a credit for that, mate, I'm afraid.
When you get
Everyone had the same luggage in the 80s as well, didn't they?
2 suitcases.
Yep.
Got a lot of plants and stuff.
Use my take a medicine in the 90s, wasn't it?
Aye.
Got more plants in Audrey too.
I've got 2 plants. I've never one plant before, but I've got an aloe vera, which was given to us. And there's something else, I don't even know what it is yet. It's still green at the moment.
Look at man, look at a fucking disco in the corner.
It's like working for Google. It's all about the fun.
Homage the first one.
We only started getting those yogi bars the past few years, didn't we, over here?
Didn't last long. We had one outside our shop a while ago.
There's some in town. There's 2 in town.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's a rat.
There's Goldsmith there.
But that ice cream place just on just below the cinema still going. Nah, it's basically like a cold plate. They just pour cream on and just to end up like being ice cream. Seems like a weird thing to put in.
I don't know. Don't remember one. I know there's the sweet shop still there.
I think it's where just before you get to the like it's trying to think of like you're probably about maybe 30 yards away from Argos. So it's just before you get to Argos, there's just this little bar. Sorry?
You mean Shakeaholic?
Ah, that might be that, yeah. No. It's where Shakeaholic's in, but it's like one of the outside ones. It's not like a shop.
Oh, yes, that's today, yeah. Yeah.
Seemed like a weird thing to do. It's very American. Kind of carnival place, but they come and go them places.
Got us up a terrace, yeah, like. And here's Rick Duckham, isn't that his name?
Duckerman, yep.
Yeah. The Burbs.
Stand-up comedian. He died not long after this.
Was this who's in Die Hard also, isn't he? He's an engineer in Die Hard who turns off the power.
Ah.
Oh, he's doing well for himself. I think he died of a heart attack. I think that's what happened.
Not surprised getting bit in the face for freaking Mogwai. He just keeps shooting at it.
Do it something. We? I mean, there was a lot of going back. There was a lot of toys for kids about this movie. We talked about the free plushes they had, because I've got the Daffy one, but there was the 3 of them. There's the Gremlins 2 video game, which I've got on NES. You know, it was on Mega Game Boy, just everywhere. You know what I mean? I love the mimes, man.
I don't think I ever got any of the toys on it.
Probably a few things.
Yeah, I mean, a good second. Imagine it would have been like random thing like Pez dispensers and stuff like that back in them days, but more marketing.
Yeah. I did see Scooby-Doo Pez dispenser today. It was pretty cool, and then he picked it up. But I was like, "What's the point?" Oh, exactly.
And here we go. No eerie green lights this time.
No.
Ching.
I mean, I don't know what to expect with this Mogwai. This time he's got a metal spine. It's like, what, really?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Just want to know. It's never really another. I mean, it pushed him too far. Gizmo almost like comes off as a girl as well.
You can't say that, man.
What?
2020, you know.
Just it.
Well, I've never heard them as a hey, have they?
No, they're doing this. Well, I guess they pushed him too far.
I think he's unisex.
I love the doink doink Gizmo. What was that noise, Paul?
That's me doing a noise of the slime
All right.
dropping on the floor. Because I haven't got a sound on the TV, so I can only do it.
Doink doink.
Sweet.
And the camera shaking.
Camera shakes for a fight.
I know.
Oh, of course you know, you're young. That's what I'm like now, you know.
I know. All the kids walking past you in the mall.
Yeah. Your kids are young, you know everything. Christ almighty.
America's electric systems are really fragile. Someone always able to just pull it out just willy-nilly.
See, that scene there should have been before the lights started flickering, because that would have made more sense. He pulls that out, zap zap, and then the lights start flickering. That's what they should have done there. What a cow.
Here comes the ball again. Here we can.
It's a hard situation to be in, that, like, when you just don't obviously know what's going on, and then you think, like, oh, hang on, what? No, what?
I've never found myself in that situation, thank God. The one thing I remember from a split of most than anything is those torches are terrible.
Mm. So this is the whole scene. This. Sorry, what?
Well, let's take your bedroom with all those computers and TV monitors and stuff.
It is at the moment. I've just bought my new keyboard. It's fucking glowing every other colour under the rainbow. It's not one colour. It's just like a fucking having a little rave today.
Go ahead, and I just appreciate it. Some of us are colourblind, you know.
Now the cameraman is Long Duck Long from 16 Candles.
No, we watched it yesterday.
Do they still hold up for you, Paul?
I haven't seen it for years, so yeah, it was good watching it again. I totally forgot about it.
I only watched it just as we went into lockdown, so I just wondered what you felt. Because I was in the same position.
Alright, yeah.
But I agree with you, I'd definitely buy Molly Ringo's Knickers with.
What?
We had a discussion, we'll not mention it on here.
I don't rate her, like, sorry, like. So.
Microwaves were so new, weren't they, really?
Well, because it was a solution for everything, wasn't it?
Yep.
You need nothing when you have a microwave.
Again, though, we didn't have this, because, like, this is going. We didn't have that over here. We had 4 fucking channels.
It's true.
Oh, I mean, like I say, we're only just really catching up now, aren't you? When you have, I say that now. I mean, in the 90s you had Ready, Steady, Hook and all that, but even then we made it more of a game show. Well, that was just genuinely...
This is a massive jump scare coming up here. This is a huge jump scare.
You said it about 5 seconds after it happened for me. So that's a good looking gremlin, like. You can tell they've really gone for a bit more of a scary looking gremlin. Really
I love the fucking punch sound. It's like... Now that, you couldn't get CG any better than that.
She's been in something as well, hasn't she? The blonde.
I have no idea.
Just got one of those faces. I mean, she's probably been one of those actresses.
I think Ricardo Levy just grabs his torch off and goes, I'm having this. I'm going to protect myself. But yeah, you're right, we never had all this stuff over here, like 24-hour cooking channels and stuff like that.
Cable channels on. I mean, this sort of like is an homage to the first movie as well, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all going down and like, they could have maybe changed it a little bit. It didn't have to take place in the kitchen. It's just like, well, that's the skit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is the reveal of the Gremlins now mutated, though. This is what these all get. We've just seen Mohawk. Daffy's still as daft as a brush, and we're going to get Carl and Lenny here as well. Oh.
That one looks dead.
Well, it has been a minute since the History Fact has taken place on one of our podcasts, so I must take this advance of saying daft to the brush is quite unusual. The context is that obviously they would lower a small chimney sweep child, we'll say, down the chimney when they weren't strong enough to shimmy their way up. And of course, naturally, if they had fallen, they would hit the head on the concrete.
I like.
Quite politically incorrect. It would be deemed as daft after that.
I love the revenge of the microwave here from the first movie. It's like they know what it is. So they're like, right.
Little buggers. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
It's like microwave. It's like that. We're not fucking messing around with that.
Yeah,
But again, it's cleverly script written because this sets off the fire alarms. This sets off the, it's the whole swimming pool. So, and you think that you've seen it all, and it's about to pull another fucking twist on you when they get to the laboratory, which they've already set up. So, and this is a really cool effect how you can see the baby little gremlins in the back and stuff.
My favourite bit is when the acting when they fall down, on the camera. In a second, they go, oh, like they just fall down, like acting.
Yeah.
Like that's Sony handicap.
He was brilliant in 16 Candles. Like, he jumps out the tree, bonsai. Microwave.
The colours again.
Yeah, from the swimming baths. Not as eerie, but I think that the music's really pushing this as well, driving that scene.
And how much cheaper would it be just to have smoke instead of 1 million puppets?
Oh yeah.
Think of it that way. And then you can just see, the pest thing. That actually shows in detail what's happening. Did you find out who she's in, Carl? The blonde wifey?
I've literally just realised what her name is now. She's in Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. Constant Witness. Is she one of the female characters? I thought she might have been an older person, like a mum or something, but...
I enjoyed Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 1996 version, of course. Now, there must be something else. What else?
38! Going down.
Going down.
No, it mustn't be the person I'm thinking of because she had a very short career. She started in 1987 with a TV series Beauty and the Beast.
No, I go and see Set Alarms and go, sorry, go.
Yeah, and her last role was 1998, which was Shadow of Doubt. She was anchor number 4. And she's still alive, just to put it out there.
Now this is a set, but there's a lot of detail gone in. There's even aeroplanes going past in the window, little models. That's how much effort they put into this set.
Yeah, and those chairs that
Is your computer going mental?
Oh, mine, yeah. I'm trying to multitask, sorry.
Yeah, you can hear.
No, it's alright, as long as that won't come from.
It's disrupting us.
Well, I'm actually prepping the artwork for this, actually. Alright. This is quite a funny...
So as you mentioned earlier on about certain rating not really holding up for what...
isn't that Gone with the Wind on the background in the screens? Just saying.
Is it? But this was given, and still is to this day, with 90,059 votes, a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
It's like the mousetrap joke, man.
Can't be.
But there's definitely a higher intellect to them now, isn't it?
Well, he's
When you think of the first one, they were just more like mischievous animals, whereas every single thing about these, let's just say, bad guy gremlin, they're all very intellectual. They know exactly what they're doing. They're operating computers and shit like that. It just feels like it's taking it to a whole different level.
I mean, that
That's what
gremlin
you
there
have
was
to do,
so
though.
green, but he was like almost like he's like the brain gremlin. He's like the green version of him, because the brain gremlin's brown. You know what I mean? So I mean, not to say that there was all these different colours in the original, because there was, you know.
Yeah. I think it's just like maybe it's better quality now that they're putting more light on it. Whereas in the original one, they were maybe using a lot of like darker tone lights to hide some of the imperfections.
Well, I think Rick Baker was a big thing, because Rick Baker came in, but I think as well, like the designer hasn't had to design them. He's just had to sort of like, you know, this is what's like acquired of what they've got to do, and they've known about this to get the script for it. You know what I mean? They've had the right prep time for it.
Yeah, and you have to think like they have the hero ones and they have the background ones. So obviously they spend more money on the ones that's got big camera longest on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I mean, there's a fuckload of them in later on, man, when they're in the fucking getting ready, fucking singing. New York.
Well, there was the cinema scene as well, which wasn't added to the VHS.
None but the VHS one was the John Wayne one. I always remember it. And I think it's the cinema one was Hulk Hogan one because it's at the cinema.
Yeah.
If I remember right. Yeah. Well, I don't know which version, the digital version I have here is, so I'll find out.
Yeah.
I always found it was so weird that having two versions of it.
It's just, I think, part of the times, really. I think it's just something that's come along, and they've, you know, it's been a good idea, and they went, well, what about VHS? I mean, what would have happened on Laserdisc? Do you know what I mean?
It could be the rights. It could be the rights. Like have it on, have the Hulkster at the cinema, and do you know what I mean? And how much it's going to cost.
I mean, essentially, is this John Wayne's last ever movie? Maybe.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. I was watching a video the other day about someone talking about John Wayne and how like he just wouldn't, like the character that he played just wouldn't be allowed on cinema screen these days. And the man was like the most epitome of a man, but he was basically the biggest sexist, racist characters all the time.
Well, get off your high horse, partner. But
That's quite a decent set, that though, like to do that one too.
Fucking blood everywhere. I mean, the constant joke will get the next one. But this is a reference to Ghostbusters almost, isn't it?
I'll get the next one.
It's like when they're getting ready to go up in the lift, and he's like, oh, we'll get the next one.
Must be some kind of cockroach. Do you think Ghostbusters and Gremlins are the same universe?
I would do. I mean, that would have been hilarious back in the day. Like, they got the Ghostbusters to fucking sort the Gremlins out. I mean, that would have been brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, that's your crossover, isn't it? People often say the Turtles and the Ghostbusters should have like a proper crossover on screen, but I would rather have the Ghostbusters basically trying to get the Gremlins.
Didn't this guy really like rip it apart when it first came out? It's so weird that.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this film. It's actually it's parody of its own film because it's talking about the first film. So they know it's a film, but then it's kind of the third dimension, is like the fourth dimension thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have the CGI put a DVD in their hands now.
They'll go 2-for-1 special.
Again, it's just good. Like, I mean, look at the gizmos. This. The fucking train. I mean, Mohawk gets around in this, but he spends most of the time tormenting. Right, so here we go. This is where it really starts going. Yum, yum. Now that's essentially the one who's the same puppet that's just gone down the fucking gritter, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Is this the lightning gremlin? No, it's the
No, it's vegetable one.
yeah, he's fucking brilliant design.
That's amazing. They just pop out with skin, isn't it? I mean, or just put some air in it and done.
He just looks class.
Is everybody here? That's the only thing I remember from Brain 1. I leave you outside for 2 minutes.
I want to. What's he fucking?
No, we're some of these formulas everywhere. But this would actually happen on, like, say, on the Looney Tunes, wouldn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I love that. I can get you diseases.
what are they working on in that place? Everything.
Anything and everything. Quite disappointing on IMDb when you look at the plot keywords for this film, and the first one is Hulk Hogan. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a big name, but come on. In fact, no, hold on. I'll tell you, the first 5, you got Hulk Hogan, Gremlin, Skyscraper, Monster, and Short Skirt.
See that, Mason? Well, that just make you smart. Now, what's going on?
This is the guy who just threw the keyhole, isn't it?
No, it's not like Grossman.
Just saying, it sounds like him.
It's over to you. I know what you mean, though. Obviously, Carl probably know.
Here he comes. Here comes the back gremlin.
Double. Stop motion there. Pretty good.
I love the back gremlin. I love how easy he looks, creepy he looks as well. Like when he opens up and it's just like the birth of a new one.
Yeah.
Big there. Yeah.
Here it comes. I love having the nectar figure of him. He sits right out on the roof like. And
Genetic sunblock. There's a lot of injections going on in this film.
I know that warning sign did a bit confusing, knowing it, because it was the sunshine with no yellow, and he's wearing sunglasses. I don't know what that would be warning me of. I'm not looking at that sign going, oh yeah, probably shouldn't put that in my eyes, or possibly skin, or anywhere in general.
I mean, we've gotten one of the fucking most genius ones. Oh, like, you know, talk about Easter eggs. He's a one for the fucking Batman logo as he's fucking going out.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a good job Warner Brothers owned it by then, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's probably their way of...
They named it twice.
I love the music, but this music is also used on the Burbs.
It's Goldsmith.
Yeah, imagine that, yeah.
It's at the end, isn't it? Love it.
It's fucking brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, that.
Yeah.
And then, like, it doesn't hang around, it goes out there and hunts down Mr. Futterman again. Of course it does.
Because you got no luck, that man.
Sounds like me.
But it just like it just gives you that kind of glimpse to the fact that we both know that this cinema's gone. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Like we mention it in almost every podcast we do. Oh, that would be CGI by now. But it's just like that.
Oh,
sort
shit,
of cinema that
sorry.
pretty much
We've
done.
just missed Hightower. There's Hightower.
I didn't notice.
Hightower fucking pulling the guy away. I mean, what a waste of Hightower.
I didn't see it.
He's literally pulling the guy away from getting attacked. I mean, we're talking Police Academy 5s and stuff.
Yeah. He's actually his character's titled as his actual name, knowing it, Brother Smith.
Hmm.
Hadn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
a name.
And he's a flashback to the original, the Flasher.
face then.
Huh? Oh, what? I know the Flash due. I'm sure the Flasher appears here.
I was going to say, he just appeared on my screen now, so I don't know where you are.
There he is now.
There he is there,
Now
just
for me.
sitting waiting if you're looking at him. Doesn't have sunglasses on if you go back though. Just saying.
He's evolved, he's got a reputation now.
The fire alarm is so good. Fire. Destruction of man.
This building is on fire.
Typical Lincoln stuff to put in.
So Chris Wallace actually declined making more Gremlins. This is the guy who did all the puppets for the first one. He actually declined the opportunity to work on it again. He ended up going to do the 1989 Fly 2.
Alright.
It's a dark fucking film. Another film that Eric Storres has got like in there.
Yeah. Even the Fly 1
I mean-
feel sick.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, I mean, look at it,
I mean,
bless him.
all I make the fun of him, and of all the people on that street, it's just like, no, we're going to go for him.
I mean, he was dead the last
It'd be
film.
legal, wouldn't it?
I mean, I love how no one's
That should have been
reacting.
a Hightower scene. The guy that you just bumped into, that should have been Hightower.
No one's helping him, though. You know what I mean? Just watching.
Would you?
Yeah. Oh no, actually, no, not back scratching the face, no. Doesn't matter.
He's not worried, man. Look at him, he's going to make a statue.
Gargoyle, isn't it? And the music's eerie when he flies up to when he comes to Gargoyle.
Fucking helmets and
Right now-
mullets.
Right now, everyone having their phones out taking pictures, never mind old-fashioned 1950s cameras.
Stop there, wait, I take a
That's what she
selfie.
did, though.
I love this bit, like, I mean, if they ever wanted to reboot it, that's just how. The DNA. I mean, I just love it when it freezes and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Has Lego actually made Gremlins? Sorry, that's on my screen, I don't know.
yeah.
But no, not Lego Dimensions.
Yeah, they were,
Warner
yeah.
Brothers. Because Warner Brothers do the films, don't they? So yeah.
Fisher Price, man. I'm just trying to take in what's going on in the background.
Yeah. Camel.
That's a camel gremlin.
Yeah.
Those dogs are pretty good for that. Yeah, again, this is a bit. Let's see which version we'll have here. There's a good monologue too, isn't it? If you think about it, he's
Yeah.
dragging on. It cut out really well for thousands of years. Here again.
This
Imagine
bit here,
that pictures watching this.
it gets cut.
Yeah.
Now, the scene here where the woman storms out, that was based off real reactions. Again, what we've talked about, the PG-13 rating coming in, because people were like, what the fuck?
My screen's gone all blurry.
Yeah, mine too. See what version we've got.
I've got home.
Shadow puppets.
Now, these shadow puppets have made quite a few appearances in Lonely Tree, just to point out. Creepy.
Abraham.
Bunny Rabbit. Oh, there's Abraham as well. Oh,
Yeah, school.
well, you know,
Not too long ago.
he's got to be in there somewhere. Yummy.
I have the
So it's-
volleyball one. So yeah, I can just sit on it.
volleyball,
Oh no, it will be Hogan. Like it'll.
Yeah, Hogan one. So it looks like the general DVD Blu-ray one will be a Hogan one, and the VHS was probably the.
She looks like the woman who's complaining at the start. That's the smoking man from the garage in the first one. He's the one with the he buys the ashtray.
Looks like him.
No, it is him.
Is it?
Looks like him. It is him.
I'm
Yeah,
going
so
with the
Hogan.
Hulk one now. I love the Hulk one.
Uh,
Mr. Hogan, we've got Gremlins. Gremsters!
Again, as a parody yourself, because he's clearly just sitting in the cinema with his title around his waist.
He didn't have to have the belt on. Like,
Nah, he could have just been Hulk Hogan. That's all he needed to do.
Now, going back to Looney Tunes Back in Action when it's Goldberg as the baddie, that would be funny if it was Hogan again, but Hogan's obviously
Yeah.
being a bit like... I mean, he's back in the games and stuff and back in wrestling, but he had a bit of a grim year.
What do you think of Chris Hemsworth? Play him in the buy-up?
He's going to have to fucking Hulk up the fuck on that.
No, that's what he'd literally been on the internet like the other day was. He said he's cause the funny thing is there'd be like literally no information whatsoever. It was mentioned like a year and a half ago.
There's no point making a biopic of somebody.
Saying, like, he said he's got to go like to the point of where he's gonna have to like go bigger than Thor. But the only problem is with that is that obviously for those who know wrestling knows that Hulk Hogan was a dickhead to work for. He would bury everyone. It was all about him. But the only reason why I'm not that hyped for it is because he is very heavily on board apparently. So you just know for a fact it's going to be very pro Hulk Hogan, and it's probably going to skip a lot of the negative stuff.
There's no point making a biopic if someone's still alive.
The one where he like, watches his daughter all the time, she's not allowed to do anything. And the one where he has that rude videotape.
What does it do? He's got the racism, he's got the porn video, he's got... But then again, I'd have to disagree with that, Mason. I don't think that someone has to be dead to do a biofilm. I just feel like if as long as the story makes sense from start to finish, so you could literally do his WWF career, and that's a start to finish. Because at the end of the day, you could literally say, right, that's it, that's his WWF run. You don't have to say, oh, then he returned like 20 years later or anything like that. But I do agree that... I do think it's going to be very questionable.
We'll see.
And he's a lightning gremlin.
I like it. Acid, don't throw in base. Yeah, because that's exactly what you need to write on. Phantom of the Opera.
You know, he's got the mask ready.
Oh yeah,
the sexiest one of all.
There we go.
See, very modern thought process. Greta.
Greta, yeah, yeah. Well, finals we got him went straight away, didn't it, Mason?
Yeah.
Makes it laugh because they go for the green hair because Gremlins are green. Yet the reality is, like, there's so many people out there in today who are dyeing their hair that colour green because it's popular.
Was like Gremlins on really long? Or was it just like...
Oh no, very dangly.
What
Oh man. It's like Jessica Rabbit channel in it.
Picardo.
So apparently he's actually controlling the puppet like entirely here.
Well, Picardo?
Obviously, it's a giveaway that he's doing it there now, but like when it's off screen, apparently, because obviously most of the Gremlin attacks have been like pretty much people holding them.
So Picardo was doing all the... Well, Greta, was he?
Yeah, apparently so.
I believe it because he was Meg Mucklebones and Legend and he had loads of makeup on, so he has done special effects before.
Yeah.
Who does Greta's voice anyway? Does he do it?
I don't know. Let's do a fact check.
It's a great death by Christopher Lee, like.
Yeah.
And one of the very few like on-screen deaths by a gremlin, do you know what I mean? But like we were talking about with the deleted scene with when you see the bank managers being eaten and you've got Judge Reinhold in the vault, you know what I mean? The only other really on-screen death is either accident by the car crash or the footman. I mean, the footmans ran over, but apparently they're not dead.
Yeah.
Now here comes, I mean, I love the foreshadowing of the spider in the background. And what a fucking, I mean, there's just a throwaway one there. Uh-oh. Rising up.
I hate spiders. We're gonna get you back, Marty!
I mean, where's that kid going?
It's got a camera.
clam. The fucking advert they're about to show man in that as well.
So I'm not seeing who did the voice of Greta, but Mark Dodson did do Daffy, George, and Lenny. Which, of course, if you're not familiar with Mark Dodson, he also did all the puppeteering for Delicious Crumb from Star Wars. He was one of the guys I met when I met Dolph Lundgren. Really nice bloke, actually.
I love Delicious Crumb.
So down to earth. Such a, like, I think he was one of those rare guests who was just like more happy to be there than it was to work.
Bloody Gizmo trying to work out like that.
He's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. You see those misses in there? Put on like he's crazy.
Oh, was she?
It's true though.
She was the mum and Tackleberry's wife, wasn't she? She was the, you know, when they're always fighting. She was the mum, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I think that's don't know if that's Anthrax or Pantera, that. Or it's Slayer, isn't it?
I'm going to voice sound on.
Fucking, you got some of them, haven't you, Paul Ray? Sock straps.
I was about to say that. I don't think I've ever known anyone wear them or have them.
So just to give you a heads up, she was in fact Mrs. Kirkland from Police Academy 4.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Sheila Futterman, she was labelled as the wife in Small Soldiers, and she was also Audrey in the 1960 Little Shop of Horrors.
Fucking hell. I love that animation in there, like.
Downtown, let your homework trip, you live downtown.
I totally want to do a parody, not like a parody, but a Beamish version of that. There's so many locations that lend itself to it.
Now, did you see that size of that VHS? I think it was a Betamax product.
It looks by a Betamax, yeah.
Like a broadcasting one. In fact, Betamax was actually a better quality than VHS, but...
Imagine that being a yearly job. Updating the end of the world video on formats. Right, it's a bit out of date now, we need to update some.
It is prepared though. Oh, back then. It's not cheese, isn't it?
Do you not think Carl... Oh, well, is he not a bit like Ted Turner in a way, Carl, do you think?
They reckon he totally modelled him after Donald Trump.
Nah, a corporation, like, yeah.
Yeah.
You like that?
I mean, check out his fucking... Check out his video camera on his desk there. That's a hell of a fucking little fucking vlogging machine, that. Oh.
But this could also be like the building next door Robocop.
It could be. When again, it's the same kind of thing. It's the corporate thing was a big thing there. It was all about. It was all about like knocking down like the 70s and 80s slums, wasn't it? And like stuff like Batteries Not Included. That era of like it was a big thing going on in America because of obviously Creature from a Thousand Fathoms, the Beast. It was a big thing in America. Over here we didn't have that because we've still got loads of vast land. But if you look at Manhattan and the New York area, you know what I mean? You have to knock down to build.
Yeah, totally, yeah. So if anyone, whoever did the voice of Greta has gone completely uncredited, because this is probably one of the longest credit lists I've got. But obviously it's interesting, because I'm happy to see people credited, like. Especially when it's just like the littlest roles you can think of. But unfortunately...
I love it how they're painting him as a doofus here, like.
Joe Dante gets an uncredited voice for Grandpa Fred, Beanie Gremlin, Wicked Witch, Gremlin. And then obviously there's loads of or uncredited
So
ones.
Joe Dante does the voice of Grandpa Fred.
Yeah, apparently. Well, see, does Grandpa Fred director?
Oh yeah, he was on before. Yeah, he was on before. I spotted him.
Can you imagine that if they did an outtake of that and he was coming up and the dog just came along and pissed on it? And nowhere to go, just to fucking just take it like a man.
Futterman's on a right little mission, isn't he?
Now again though, talking about Futterman, right? Because his wife has almost next to nothing to do with this role, and you hear me out on this one, if Corey Feldman hadn't had such a run-in with Joe Dante on the Burbs, they might have brought Corey Feldman back for the time because he was that popular. Because like he would have made sense being a solo. Oh, Pete's coming to visit, to New York, and they could have went with that because Futterman's wife has almost nothing to do.
Well, she's almost like being pretty much dumbed down, isn't she? She's literally had that camera in her hands from the get-go.
I mean,
not doing anything other than just taking photographs of things.
Well, Joe Dante had a nightmare with Feldman because Feldman let Michael Jackson's Bubbles, loose in his trailer, and he destroyed it. It's a well-documented thing on the Feldman's autobiography and on Joe Dante's commentary for the movie. He was he was at that era where he was reckless and this is a time where.
Also, I will say though, he's also a kid. I mean, I know he wasn't a child, but he was. I mean, Joe Dante's got to understand that when you hire young people like that, influence. I mean, I would have thought that was hilarious.
I think Feldman was mint in the Burbs. I mean, he held his own against Tom Hanks.
Well, this is it though. But obviously, he did say in that Q&A though, didn't he? How he felt completely outmatched, and he just felt like he wasn't sure what was going on most of the time.
Because he was obviously, that's why.
Well, that could have been a contribution, but I always remember him I think that was interesting when he turned around and said, obviously, you must get the Burbs a lot, which I think he mentioned. Everyone always asked him about it, and he said he didn't really remember much.
Then Brittany goes, birthday, and it's just no one else is getting a question in now.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all these going. We've got a bachelor party. I've got a spare copy, Carl. If you want to borrow it, and we could probably do a podcast for that. That'd be interesting.
I'd be up for that, yeah.
I'll try and remember to hunt it out, and I'll drop it off when I drop Waterworld off it.
Yeah, nice.
Because it's actually got a comedy track on it, so.
Has it? Cool. Is he on it?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. They did a bit of a throwback to the bar scene, innit? In the first one.
I love the boss.
Amplified.
I love Gremlins Madness. I fucking love that track.
I want a
And
t-shirt.
look at, he's got a Ghostbusters Gizmo t-shirt. I mean,
I'm gonna look on eBay for this.
Etsy.
Yeah. Like this chap here.
They've really invested in that smart gremlin, haven't they?
But he's talking for him, he's like a president, isn't he? The
He
brain.
just literally pulled a gun out from nowhere and shot another gremlin. It's just a metal.
He makes me we're unsophisticated. That looks so bad, but looks good. The Gremlins are so stupid. What the heck was that?
He's been in quite a lot. He's in Ace Ventura. He's the bus driver in Speed. He's been in a lot of films.
Is he Speed?
He's the guy, the bus driver at the start who gets blown up.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, look, now like Sandra.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Ventura? Homicide. And he goes on about the size of his dick. The teeth. Now, unfortunately, as I love this character, I think this maybe should have been the end of Daffy because Daffy doesn't really get a death, you know what I mean? He's just with the rest of them when they go zap. They don't really give, except for Mohawk, they don't really get like a good death scene, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right. Since Brain took over, he's the main gremlin now, isn't he? Because he talks for them.
Well, this is it, 'cause really, I mean, where's Mohawk been? I haven't seen him for ages.
Well, he's turned in the spider. So there could have been a conscious decision to have 5 Mogwais, because the brain gremlin just really comes out of nowhere. But it's the same as the lightning gremlin, the vegetable gremlin. They all just pop out of nowhere, don't they?
See the sign, Infectoscope Labs? That's from inner space.
Well, that is, aye.
Goddamn Infectoscope. Shrinking stuff. Goddamn.
The world's worst scissors weren't done. They didn't fucking cut much.
Tink. 2 hours later.
But here she is.
This is kind of like because I know like Joe Donnelly loves his B movies, but it's kind of like a 1950s B movie, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like an homage to almost Tarantula and stuff like that.
Just the way it's shot, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I mean, I was like, for years, I was humming and hawing about biting the bullet for 200 quid for the Spider Gremlin, and I could never do it, and I got one a pre-order, and I was over the moon when I actually got one. But I mean, you do see them quite often now. They're not like the second wave. Here he comes.
He's massive, isn't he?
I mean, Carl, you were there when I seen this guy. When Brittany was like wanting bought them for me Christmas present, and the guy gave us a really good offer on the 2 of them.
Aye. I've just been before when you mentioned about Stallone technically being in this film. I don't know if he needed to. I don't know if Joe Dante needed to, but apparently Stallone did give his official nod to use Rambo, stuff like that.
Well, that's it. I mean, the bandana and stuff. You know what I mean?
If you owned the rights to the character, then you probably would have to, wouldn't he?
We'll have to do First Blood, Paul, because I know we've been talking about that for a while. Just the first one, like, but
Cool.
because Stallone didn't want to do it.
Which one? Rambo 1?
First Blood. Don't you say Rambo 1?
I'm on board with you, mate. I thought it all the way, but I think it's just hilarious the way you went on that time. It was like you literally got legitimately angry. But don't get me wrong, I do the alphabetical order on my steelbooks, and First Blood is nowhere near Rambo 3.
I know, as bad as Casper. Fucking. Oh, this is a bit here actually where she's about to have that other speech, and just like, yeah, it gets cut short. Again, little nod to the head of the original.
I wonder why.
Carl wrote in a postcard when he was a kid. Excuse me.
A postcard? I sent a digital letter.
What, in the fucking 90s?
Yeah.
Through fax.
Is everybody here?
Again, this is not as good as Snow White. I-ho.
Nah.
I-ho.
It's
I-ho.
It's a freaking song.
No, it's not. I know, I mean, it's a musical, but it's just not as good as like them watching Snow White and doing that.
No, but it's pretty cool, though.
Oh, you can tell, like, obviously he's amplified it. He's been told, right, what we're going to do for number 2, and thought bigger and better. I'm not entirely sure it's better, but I would definitely say that they haven't spared any expenses.
Spare no expense.
Well, that's the only way a good park is opened, isn't it? By sparing no expenses.
I mean, they wrap it up all right. You know what I mean? I love it how they're hiding in bins on a fucking ledge.
How?
See, this is a bit weird. This bit, like, it's just like how weird they've had to have made that. You know what I mean? I know it's just a movie. You know what I mean? It's just like, who's had time to make that shit?
And she like spirals out the eye and that.
Yeah, this is like a proper high-end production.
Doesn't even sing.
Gremlins, man.
It just goes.
Oh, it's a wedding.
That's called whistling.
Da 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 da.
You know what's like for?
No.
Acme Nitro. There's a little nod there.
Nod.
But they're all dressed up in there and all the war stuff and all this, and they were standing at the front getting pissed before.
Got workmen on it.
No.
The plan being boiled.
It's Newcastle. When you think it's a summer's day, you walk outside, it starts pouring down. It's like, oh.
I'm just gonna nip the shops off, for fuck's sake.
It's sunny all day. I'm just gonna go and have a quick look around.
Tell you what would have been a great end to this film, right? Is if they all just proper barged out of that building and then literally it just started lashing down the rain. And then literally you just see like the earth has been just taken over by gremlins.
Alternative ending.
Putting Warner Brothers tattoo on his chest.
I'm breaking the fourth wall. There's the puppet again.
Hold on. Since when did a Flash dissolve a gremlin?
Phantom.
Literally just took his photograph and he turned it into a skeleton.
Oh, and again though, that probably goes back to the first one.
See, that's a scary fucking gremlin, that, like, Phantom of the Opera.
You can tell it had so much ideas and so much fun doing it.
That's what I was saying. It would be very interesting to know what other kind of ones they had in mind. Because I always thought, like, you know, like, I mean, I've got one of the Nectar figures and he's called Oscar and he's an all-white Mogwai. You know, and he's pretty cool, but they've even started bringing like them out, like called Husky and stuff like that. You know, like little different ones and stuff.
Yeah.
Like a duck boot.
That's what they should do, you know. I mean, like, Nectar should be doing that, and like sitting there going, right, let's find out what the weird gremlin didn't get released. I'd happily buy like a one that's so obscure but was an idea that never used, opposed to buying a 30th stripe.
That is the worst thing in the film. It's spitting gremlin. Absolutely horrible.
Spit? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sure, spit.
Wow.
Didn't I look something like yours?
But yeah, I think you're right, Carl, because I just noticed that Olympic one, haven't I, for some strange reason.
Yeah, it just seemed to be the same thing.
When I have some melting gremlins.
Thanks, Paul, for that copyright.
If you get copyright, that'd be amazing.
Just say a poor climax and excitement, they'll understand. That's interesting, like showing a little baby gremlin like through a transparent bubble.
Take a.
I mean, the bathtub.
Yeah, you're right. All this would have been hand drawn in. So you're right.
But again, the lightning gremlin technically, well, he just, you know, zap everyone, but he would have been still alive.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll not just disappear after the kill everyone. Oh, I don't know. Again,
I know where. If there was any conduction, you know, there'd have to be somewhere for it to go, wouldn't it? Otherwise, it would just dead.
Yeah.
Science
Sure,
fiction. Yeah.
Look at that face.
Melton seems a little worse. Like, it's
not looking great, is it?
It's horrible. Channel 5 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, having your tea.
I was just thinking that before, you know, when we're talking about, like, saying how America's got all these cables and that. Do you remember, like, literally living in the era where we got Channel 5? And we've been living with 4 channels, and then all of a sudden this new one. We'll never get that again, will we?
No, that'll be Joe Dante's voice. I want it.
Oh, which one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently there is quite a few of those skeleton props still knocking about the internet, like originals.
Oh god, it's horrible, but it's just old. Yeah. Ugh. Yum yum.
But Gizmo looking all psychotic, smiling and that.
Wow. You know what to say, Carl, when you want to become more? These guys
I thought they said live for something or die for nothing.
He said these SWAT guys won't die hard. You know, the SWAT guys that die hard were getting nettle stings on them. Don't know why. Because of trip over and stuff. But they didn't give him a gun.
I don't know if I'll be able to see him, Mason, but the guy from Total Recall with the dodgy fur, apparently he's in this, but he's labelled as SWAT team leader or something. I don't know if we saw him earlier on or whether we'll see him now.
I think he's on now. Oh, no, he's on
Leos or something like that. Was he on before, was he?
I can't remember now. Was it before or not? No, that was a fire marshal.
Yeah, the fire marshal.
That thing may be honest, and I don't know, I can't remember.
I love how that Chinese kid still doing all the work, like, you're just a tourist and you've been on the whole film, just filming everything. There he is. He's just a shot.
Yeah.
Aye.
It moved.
That's a small role. I mean, this will be the same year as Total Recall, though. This is like the same 12-month era. Because he would have been in that then, probably a big role in Total Recall. Because this...
What other films came in the 90s?
Yeah?
What other films came in the 90s?
2 seconds, I'll tell you.
Thanks, I haven't got me,
I thought you would have been on board with this, like, Mason.
No, I mean, my phone's charging.
Well, Turtles was a big one. Turtles was the biggest independent movie of that year.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think we've obviously covered a lot of it when we did Turtles, but I'll just... So we've got Gremlins 2, Back to the Future 3,
Darkman, amazing movie.
Edward Scissorhands, Die Hard 2, Total Recall, Home Alone, so quite a big one.
Yeah, big one.
The Witches, Predator 2, Never Ending Story 2, Goodfellas, Robocop 2. Seems to be the year of sequels, really.
We're doing
one of the best Rockies ever, Rocky 5.
Ooh.
You Tommy, I ain't no Bill Tommy. I love Rocky 5.
I tell you what, that's fucking bizarre, man. How Stallone's been talking about doing a director's cut for Rocky 4.
It's gonna be awesome.
It has been, aye.
Because I don't know what else would have been. That film kind of paced itself out. I don't know what other scene. It's obviously not going to be like Lord of the Rings, where it's going to be a 3-hour version. It's probably going to be an extra 13 minutes or something.
Well, they had loads of like different angles from different scenes that are used in Rocky Balboa for some of the fight scenes and stuff.
Because in Rocky Balboa, like he wins, doesn't he, in the alternative ending?
Yeah, aye. He always wins in my eyes. He wins in life. Because it's not about how hard you hit, is it, Paul?
No, it's about how hard you can get it and keep moving on. That's how winning is
forward. A sigh of release there, didn't you?
Yeah. It's like 10 o'clock and I haven't been up. I kind of shut my head off anymore.
Then you've always got to do it at the end where you say, don't forget to visit your mother.
Yeah, he drops a mic.
Oh.
I mean, it's Gizmo's just popped out there in daylight, like it's like, hiya, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I mean, what they should.
It's it's artificial light. It's not daylight, as in real daylight, is it?
You should just go upstairs and like get that sunblock and just jab them. There you go. It's sold.
He's already selling them. Isn't he?
I mean, at least it again, it leaves it all. I mean, it gives Billy and Gizmo like the happy ending what they didn't get in the first one. Do you know what I mean? Because I think there was a message with the first one. You know what I mean? Again, a puppy's life isn't just for Christmas kind of stuff, and the fact that Billy wasn't responsible enough, that's why he was taken away.
Yeah.
Mr. Futterman scratching his head's cleared up, isn't it?
Just a movie.
I just noticed that. Got TV. Those biohazard suits was mainly over the blob.
But there's still 1 gremlin left, remember, guys?
Oh, yes. There's a sequel right now.
Well, Richard, he's getting it on, isn't
What, like an Alien Resurrection sequel, like half man, half fucking gremlin?
It's just a bit where he just gives in. He's like, oh, stuff it.
Well, this is it. That's weird to me, though, because it's not like adding that. You just wouldn't, though, would you? You wouldn't just go, oh, well, fuck it, I'm going to have sex with this thing. Yeah, she's got her own designer wedding dress as well.
In the
Must have
quiet.
made that while she was making the picture, yeah. See, she's got the right idea. Don't go out, go mental. Get shit done. Be productive.
No.
It's weird, like, Ricardo's got the last scene in the film.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
So he looks at it and say like, alright, go on, let's do it. Huh? That's weird.
I mean, it's got disease written all over it.
That's how
Creepy.
concept was developed.
Wow.
The end. I used like the Hills of Ice to go start somewhere.
I love Hills of Ice, the remake.
Jesus, mate, come on. How he gets a big credit, yeah.
He gets a bit
Tony
of
Randall.
starring.
There's the credits starting 3/4 of the way up again.
Yeah. Not messing about.
Key Luke is Mr. Wing, who died, unfortunately. And wow, that's unorthodox as well. Black background
Blue.
fade into blue, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like old VHS background, isn't it? When you had to stop a video.
Oh, there's Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck, that's probably why they've done it, because Daffy Duck appears.
He appeared, he hadn't appeared yet.
I've just been skipping through, he keeps popping up.
Ah, well,
Okay, again, twice.
Jeff Burgum did the voice of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck.
Yeah. What's up?
What's up, Doc?
Yeah.
Based on the characters by Crystal Lines.
Rabbit. Yeah. Rabbit season. Well, Gremlins 2. There we go.
Aye.
Well, yeah, that's been the end. Oh, Daffy Duck finally at the end. Amblin Entertainment. Douche.
You're way ahead of me.
I'll just skip forward, guys. Normally I do on the end. Well.
How many cable networks did you give us?
This for me.
I don't know. Yeah, you go first, Chris. Go on.
I'm going to say 7 for this one mainly because it's brilliant. It's a brilliant sequel because at the end of the day, it doesn't even try to like beat the original. It knows what the original is, and that's what really works for it. It's great that Joe Dante is back. Again, I think there's some really quick decisions to make to get the cast in there. I don't believe Mr. Futterman was the first choice to come back. I generally believe that. I love the new Gremlins. I love the Mogwais. I just don't think that there's enough like they just don't seem to kill the Gremlins off in any particular way. You know, like the original, in the blenders and the head getting chopped off. They just don't, like, Mohawk's the only one who really gets killed, and he gets killed by Gizmo. I love the score. I think it's really well. The Gizmo looks amazing, and I just think, you know, it's good. Anyone who disses Gremlins too, but again, from like more marks the original. I meant more to me for seeing it in the pictures, how it's got the Christmas tractor. That's like seeing a live action cartoon. So no, I'll give it 8 because it really does try, but it has a hell of a lot of fun with it.
8 cable network.
8 cable networks.
I think I'm gonna go with 7. Yeah, 7 cable networks. I do agree pretty much with all the pros that you mentioned there. I think obviously the technology on the Mogwai is fantastic compared to the first one. I do think it's a very fitting sequel, although it's somewhat of a... I mean, I know it is a sequel because it's the same character as Gremlins, but it almost stands on its own. I feel like they got a little bit too messy. Like you said, there were so many ideas that they could have gone with, and I personally feel like they didn't quite get a solid idea. I feel like everything about this film is about 6 different people's input, so instead of like saying, right, let's break it down, they just thought, right, everyone gets the minute to shine.
Well, I think...
You know, like, if you want to do the cinema bit, you do that bit. I want to focus on the psychiatrist, the smart gremlin. Oh, well, you do that. And so it felt a little bit messy. And like you say, Futterman was probably never meant to be in there, but they needed another cameo, I think. You know, the mum and dad would have been a better choice, but obviously for whatever reason they weren't around.
Well,
yeah, I think a 7 would be fair enough for me.
The dad obviously is a big country star, and I was just going to say there, do you know one of the main things about this? Is Steven Spielberg's name's not above it, and Steven Spielberg's input.
Because there's no mention of it, no, is it?
Well, it's Amblin.
Like on internet.
Well, he gets the executive producer credit at the start, and he gets Amblin Entertainment over it, so he gets a paycheck. I just think, I mean, looking back at his input, how he was the one who says, look, Gizmo doesn't turn into Stripe.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think he would have maybe give more input in, but again, they said they tried for years to get a decent script, and they just never got there, so they just dumped it out, you know what I mean?
But I would say, even given the 7 out of 10, I'm still happy that it got a sequel. You know, I still feel like, as messy as it was, I still enjoy it enough to say I can still watch that and get a kick out of it. It's still, like I say, it's a live action cartoon, basically. But yeah, I would say it's probably one of those films that, you know, you can tell was probably a little bit of a nightmare to work on in terms of getting things like the story going. But yeah, what do you think, Paul?
6.
You going 6?
Right, yeah. It's a good sequel, but it could just be on its own, really. You don't really need to save the first one. And there's too much going on. It wasn't just one story. Like I said before, it was like a few different stories added on there. So, but yes, it's they've seen it for such a long time. But yeah, they kind of grow on Gremlins 2, and had Bob Cardowell and stuff like that, and Joe Goldsmith, Joe Donnelly.
They did. Yeah, they did. You can see they put a lot of passion into it. It would have been very different if it was messy and it was just shit, you know. But you can see they were actually really trying in certain aspects of it. So that's why I feel like it's more acceptable.
Yeah, let's say if someone else made it, a complete director, it'd be completely different. But because it's got had Joe Donnelly input, it's just more of the first one. But no, it's good watching it again. It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, I loved it.
Now, was there a place in the modern world for Gremlins 3? Forget the whole secrets of Mogwai or whatever the character would be called. Would you do Gremlins 3?
I think they would have tried it when CGI came along, and then I just don't think they could have got a story. I mean, I think the best idea would be to put the Gremlins in the past in a war. I think that is one of the best stories they haven't tapped into, because people always blame the Gremlins. And like, interesting fact, Walt Disney were going to make a Gremlin movie, animated, well before Warner Brothers tiptoed around it. So like, they could have done something like that. made it a comedy in the war, have a war going on and the Gremlins there. Do you know what I mean? Like stuck in a bunker or whatever. But I think modern now, I don't think people like... The cartoon's probably the best way to go, or whatever this thing is. Because it keeps it going, because people aren't going to get the rules, you know. It'll get to the point that they'll get so bored of a story, Gizmo will end up becoming a gremlin at some point in the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like series 2, fucking Gizmo is a fucking bad gremlin. It's just kind of like the two, like it's like Short Circuit. You got Short Circuit 1 and Short Circuit 2, and they've never bothered anymore. And that's just the way they just fit. One was made in the 80s, one's made in the 90s. It didn't perform, but again, it was changing. You know, it took time for people to discover these movies through the love of VHS. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. It's just big hit in the 80s, 90s didn't do so well, and then no one's dared bothering doing anything since. So, as someone goes for a wee by the sounds of it. Who's going for a wee? But you, Paul Ray.
Me!
I'm
lying in bed.
It's me.
Lush.
I just wasn't going to mention it. Doing a bit of hands-free jobby.
Jobby.
Jobby. Nah, but it's a good little series there. Like I say, I think I can see them trying to do a third one, but I agree with what you say. It is what it is. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Same with, like you say, Short Circuit. It did what it needed to do. Done. Short and sweet.
Well, hopefully we're
What's gonna be the next one, boys?
well, we need to get Waterworld out of the way. This has become the unfucking joke at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's... I'll have to wait till I think I have a Sunday off. I think we'll need a Sunday afternoon, I think. I don't know, I'll leave it to Paul Ray and see what Paul Ray wants to do. We could probably do Inner Space.
Oh, excellent. You're doing it.
What about the branch now episodes?
Well, we do need to do the branching out, but that we can probably try for that next time if you want, guys, because that'll help me out a bit better, because I can just release that straight away.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because that...
This has been the podcast for Gremlins 2, the new batch. I've been Steve Monkey Mason. I've been joined with Lubo Call himself. And Paul Ray. He's meant to say goodbye, not alright.
Bye, Billy.
Bye, Billy. Thanks.
Shut up and now.
Thanks for listening.